Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Cubemi, a digital and graphic designer. Um, this the pieces that I made for the Chrometype battle on Reese. The theme was tribals. As you see, with tribals going on here, there's one thing that I wanted to share today with you guys. My workflow of how I basically only try to use Blender to create all these shapes, and specifically talking about modeling these shapes. As you can see, this is pure geometry. This is just like quads modeled into the letter shapes, and then these ones are all also quads that are modeled, and then I use the sub-D on it and a sharpen. You can see, and a bevel. Bevel. Oh wait, there's actually bevel. But yeah, so the reason why I started doing this is because I noticed that I had was spending a lot of time in Photoshop and Illustrator creating all this, um, doing all this sketching and creating a lot of stuff and a lot of sketches for eventually just to do it again in uh, Blender. And uh, recently, I think everybody has been seeing a lot of the same stuff going on with like typography in Blender, especially the well-known method of extruding in Illustrator, exporting the mesh, importing the FBX file or OBJ file in Blender, and then basically using the smooth brush or even just importing an SVG file in Blender, inflating it, remeshing it, smoothing it, and kind of feel like it's getting pretty generic, or like to like maybe it's like a lot of people are using it, and I just want to highlight there's like other really good ways of doing this as well without using the like well-known method, and you can get like really I believe it's really nice reflections, as we'll see here. So you get like really sharp lines on these tribals, and in combination with like a metallic shader, of course, they will look really cool. Also the type I did here, you get like really hard edges. I think Edgar um, GFX on Instagram, he does a lot of typography like this, but he uses Cinema 4D. And Cinema 4D has the bevel function, which works a lot better. So today I'll show you how I do it. So let's close this. The first thing we'll do is I'm using a Wacom pretty old tablet, Intuos Pro Large, I think. I use this mainly for sketching. So the first thing you want to do is like sketch out what your shapes are gonna be. So if you're gonna make you're gonna use only Blender. So this is the nice thing about this option, I think, is that it's completely free. So you don't need like Illustrator to do it, or you don't need to like have Photoshop or anything. You can just like download Blender, open up the basically this viewport, select your annotate tool, select the color, and then you don't um even really need a tablet to do this, because you can just like stabilize your stroke, and then like this you can just start sketching a little bit, just thinking. This is probably something that doesn't this. It doesn't need to be like correct or anything. Then always cool if you have like backlight. So basically, once we have this, you're gonna hit W. W is gonna go to your select box. So a few things about this is you need to have a pretty basic understanding of modeling in general. So uh, what I mean with that is if I add this plane here, basically what you need to know what quads are. So quads are important for modeling like this. A quad is this basically. So these little points, four, are vertices, vertex. So four of them connected make a quad, and a quad is basically a square with 4 points. And these are always preferred when modeling. Reason for that is because they create really nice geometry, and the geometry is gonna give you the ability to make the shapes look really, really nice. So what I recommend doing is we'll just let's say we want to model like this part of a tribal. We need to think about our quad flow. So how is our geometry gonna flow throughout the piece? So if you look at it, the most of the flow is gonna go this. This is the way it's gonna go, and then some is gonna go this way. But the general direction is gonna be this. So once you start, you wanna have your plane that is gonna be our starting point in the correct direction. Maybe here or there. That's personal preference, but make sure that now if I start like this, then this piece is going to be really hard to model because this point is pointing in that direction, and that's going to create n-gons. N-gons are basically, well, I'll create an n-gon for you if I remember how to. So oh, do it. Oh wait, like this. This is an n-gon. And now we have still a square, but if we look, it has 5 points. That's an n-gon. A bad thing, but we want to avoid those as much as possible. We want to start off with the least amount of geometry possible, then slowly build it up. So let's get started. I would start like this maybe. This way to start, and then you're gonna either use your 1 key to switch to vertex mode. So this enables us to select vertices, or you're gonna hit 2, and this is gonna select edges. This is an edge. This is a face. We're not really gonna use that. Maybe in the end to fix some stuff up. This is a vertice. This is what we're gonna use a lot. So first things first, before we start modeling, or I should have said this before actually, make sure you're gonna hit your numpad if you have one, or you're gonna hit your, this is orthographic view, I'm correct, yeah, graphic top or for orthographic. So this makes sure that once we're doing stuff, like we're adjusting geometry, it's gonna be all flat. You know? You're gonna exclude the Z from the picture this way, so we're not gonna have like this stuff. If you have stuff like this going on, you're gonna get fucked in the end. By just like, if you're gonna do it like that, it's gonna fuck up your whole mesh. And so, right, let's extrude this, and we already see what's happening. We're gonna extrude this, and we're just gonna like model, basically just follow the lines, guides that were created, and then we immediately see that we hit an issue because we got to make a decision now, because we need geometry on this side, but we also need geometry on this side. So an easy way to fix that is to hit Control R. So that's Control R, and this is gonna enable us to add a loop cut. And loop cuts are our best friends because, as you can see, you're gonna have nice quad flow. Quad flow is basically if I left click and hold Alt, it's gonna follow all the quads and I'm gonna select everything. And this is one of the most important things because this is like a check for yourself to see if you did the right thing with your geometry. So if your geometry has, so just continue this. And now getting the sharp edges really easy because you just like increase the thing. And the way the angle of your edges also matter. I'll show later why, but so this one, like I have to move this back because it's moving in certain direction, as you can see, you know. You have to follow like the, not really the motion, but like the suggesting motion that the tribal has, or your piece in general if you're using this for something else. But yeah, you wanna get that out. Okay. So then we're gonna do this stop part. The only shit thing now is that we have like additional geometry that we have to deal with because we did that loop cut. So, oh, up there. So we're gonna extrude this. Now we're gonna switch up the flow of the geometry, as you can see a little bit. We're gonna use this cut that goes up there, and then we're gonna model this like that. Not really even modeling, this is more like the same thing you would do in Illustrator, I guess. Yeah. It's just with like a little bit more steps. And you need like some basic modeling understanding. Not a lot. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy to understand. There, Master Xeon 1001 has amazing tutorials about modeling, geometry flow, and just like how to like maintain proper topology in Blender or like in modeling in general. And he has like amazing, like nice, relaxing videos where he explains stuff and makes really cool mech designs. He's also the designer of Box Cutter, or the one of the fathers or founding fathers. I don't know what to call it. Of Box Cutter, which is like an insanely powerful program. All right, so now this is all in edit mode, by the way. Of course, you just hit tab. You'll see here if you're in edit mode or. Okay, yeah, so you can tab out, you can tab in, see what's going on. You might wanna delete the... Let's go here. But now, if you look here, this is all kinda wacky. So I hit it with the Subdivision surface modifier. I just hit Control 1 or hit Control 2. Gonna increase it, and you see that we need more geometry on this side to make it appear sharper. So we're gonna extrude. Or slightly increase the size just to make it look like it's rotated maybe a little bit. This one can be part up here. It can be not sure. I recommend using, I wasn't doing it, but using edge selector, so just hit to keyboard. And then the secret sauce to this the end is gonna be the Alt S tool. Alt S, I don't even know what it's. Shrunken and flatten, oh yeah, that's what it is. So like this, and then try to keep the flow here as good as possible. So now we have this. Now you see, one of the most important things about this workflow of modeling the tribals and your typography is going to be this line right here. So this line in the middle, this line in the middle. And as we see here, we're missing one. Now This is where the knife tool comes in, and not only the knife tool, but also the n-gons that are gonna come in. That we want to keep to a minimum, but we have to create some, fortunately. So you're gonna hit K on your keyboard, then you see this thing down here. You can forget all about it. Basically, what you do is you click. It's gonna snap to edges and vertices, and you're gonna click like this to create a loop cut. Now make sure in the end here that you're gonna hit that middle part. Don't hit the thing. Then to confirm, you're gonna hit spacebar. Now we're gonna get in the data panel, and we're gonna assign these selected edges to a vertice group. I'm gonna name it scale. I'm gonna press assign. I'll explain later why we need that. Now, yeah, you're gonna do the same for this part. So if you just scroll through them, it's gonna select multiple edges and it's gonna choose its own path. But you can just like do them one by one as well. Then you gotta assign these two. You're gonna select this. Mine is this one. Very important. Don't go all the way to the edge. Gonna hit assign. Gonna hit this one. Click assign here. Now, I press select. It's gonna select all this. Right. Press Alt S. So this is the shrink and flatten tool. And look what's happening. It's extrude. It's basically extruding it. If you look at this side, you know it's all empty. Basically doing that. So you can achieve the same thing with GZ. Like G is the thing for move, but I like it much better of doing it the other way. You can even hit it with a solidify and then use it, I think. Or you can maybe you have to do like I think like yeah. You can get some crazy shapes as well. But it's gonna fuck up the geometry a little bit. Okay, so I normally do without solidify, hit Alt S. You can even go one step further and say I want to select all this and I want to fill it up. You're gonna have to create additional geometry between these edges, between these vertices. You can fill it up and you can have like an actual 3D type because this is just I mean it's 3D, but it's not, because you're basically just creating the illusion that it's 3D. So, yeah, okay. Vertices. Sometimes it goes away, I don't know. Not that one. I don't know why. I'm not a pro, like, Blender user. I know the basics of it and I know what I need to know, but like some parts are like still a mystery for me. Like sometimes I lose my vertice group. I don't know, vertex group. Wait, I don't know why. Okay. Then what we can do is we can S-mark it. So this is a hard ups, what I just used. I forgot to mention that, but this is basically the sharpen tool. So you can mark sharp. That's basically what it's doing, and then it's gonna create these really sharp edges. Now we have the subdivision modifier on. We can actually could turn that off. Like now it's turned off. We can completely delete it. We can hit it with a bevel. I use the hard ups bevel, or the hard ups bevel. Just give it a teeny tiny bit. Increase the segments if you need to. I like this, and then like around there. And then you're gonna see here that you're gonna have some fucked up. You might have some fucked up stuff. You might have to move your geometry around to get the desired effect. Or check if your shade smooth or shade flattening is correct. Maybe you have to, because now this one is marked sharp, but it should be. See? That helped a little bit. I don't know what. Sometimes you have to like slowly move it around to see what happens when you do it, especially with this part as well. If you want to get like more into modeling and understanding what happens when with these parts, I recommend going into like actual modeling tutorials. This is a whole different subject. It's much more complicated. Alright, so then if you want to go to shading, you will go to render view, you can. I normally always start off with like this stuff right here. I have some shaders that are for free on my Gumroad that you can use. Let's see if I can import them. Where were they? Let's see. Oh yeah, metal texture. So, okay, I gotta append one. Where was? And the sky texture. So. Sky shader. So sky shader. So this is a little node I made. Node group that we can use to create clouds, and if we open it up, so use tab to go inside, you can see it's basically a sky texture over here connected to some really basic Musgrave textures and some power stuff to create some pretty okay looking clouds. You can play around with this to increase their intensity, and then here's your basic controls of how big the clouds are. You can change the color of the sky as well, so like that, and then you have some. Yeah, there's a lead gradient as well in there. So like the gradient is controlling the strength of the clouds background. So we got that. Then over here we have our metal texture, I think. Correct one? Yep, I think it is. So the metal texture is basically controlled by damage scale. So this decreases the scale, the bump strength. You can play around with that. So this is corroded metal. Texture 1. Yeah, this is a little bit different. Now, to get this to work, it's generated. You can plug it into the UV and then, yeah. Because this is all pretty simple n-gons, if we select all this and we go to UV, just smart unwrap, because it's pretty basic material, and then you get like a really, I think a really cool looking effect. Up the scale a little bit, bump strength. And then now, because it's in line with the gradient, as you can see here, so if we flip it like that 90 degrees, get a pretty cool effect on here. And it's like, it has the hard edges that you're like normally looking for when you're doing what's it called? Chrometype stuff. For compositing, for the piece that I showed in the beginning, I used my own node group. Gonna append that as well. I will add everything in the I'll add everything in it's on my Gumroad and I'll add it in the video link below. And this, I think it's this. Or render. Yeah, compositor always you have to turn on. Yeah, you get like this glow is basically what it's giving me. Might be better to add like a light. There's a small light. Works really well with a sun. My experience, like using. So remember that you have to turn on your compositor. There we go. There it is. So this glare and everything that you see, it's just made within a node group. Over here. This is the node group. So this is actually a way to give color to your glare. I don't know exactly how it works, but I just playing around in it. I found it pretty good. So you can give it like different colors, and then this is actually made with dispersion, as you can see. You can move it a little bit and give it like a little bit more color. Then this is the dispersion is blurred before it's applied, and then or it's the glare, blur, dispersion. So you can actually go like this. It's also really cool. Then you can increase the thing, and then this moves, offsets it a little bit. You could even I like 0.2, which is pretty cool. You can even hit it with another blur after that and increase the size a little bit just to give it that nice effect. And then up here it's another glare, and this is the stuff we're gonna see. If you see like unblurred stuff, I think it's doing actually. And yeah, the rest you should use pretty cautiously because it's not a really good node group. Gonna like optimize this. Does some pretty hefty shit. And yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, if you have any questions, just you can comment on here, or you can join the Chrometype Discord and ask me. Yeah. Thanks for watching and good luck.